Hi everyone, I'm back with another video from the Season 28 PTR, this time about Typhon Wizard. So you might have seen this build got buffed by roughly ×2 basically. So this got like the same treatment as Frenzy Barb, for example. And Hydra Wizard is actually already a pretty decent build. So it's not really crazy, and definitely no match for Russia, which is just completely bonkers these days, which we got last season. But I gotta say, I mean, the nerf is coming for Russia, at the very least in Season 29. And now we have this here to try out. So I did that on the PTR, and as you can see here, like 135 is an absolute cakewalk. I was doing my testing without pressing potions, so no weird pile-in effects or so from that. And we can expect that in the final patch it's going to be even better once you actually start using potions with whatever they're going to do with them. So it is a pretty okay build. Nothing super crazy, but Wizard in particular is actually a fairly balanced class. It has a lot of these like A-tier builds, and Typhon was just not really on the same level as the others. So it was a pretty good target for a buff in my opinion. And generally I think it's a pretty fun build as well. So the Hydras and this active playstyle of attacking and doing some other stuff while they destroy everything is actually pretty cool in my opinion. So it's nice to see that it got a bit of love, but you should not have any illusions. Like with the Meteor build in the game, there's almost nothing that matches it basically, and this includes Typhon. But I'd say as a farming build in particular, Russia doesn't really turn out to be like the greatest, so it is probably still slightly better. Meteor is simply not really suited as like a good farming build because of the smoldering core mechanic. You have to stack up your Meteor hits first of all to even start doing really good damage. So it is a rather slow-paced build, and this means there's a bit of a niche for Typhon to come in and do farming especially. So I was doing these GR 118 speeds here, again with no potion, and I was playing a ranged version with Zays and Power Hungry, and I had this Electrocute generator to get my fragment stacks. So it was relatively smooth, and as you can see, like these runs like 2.5 minutes or so. It's not super fast, but it is definitely on a competitive level to other pretty good builds like POJ, Inner, Frenzy, the Buff DOE, etc. So it's kind of up there. And with Russia, I had slightly better results. I went up to like 123, 124 or so, but they were a bit slower. So it's kind of close. And as I mentioned, yeah, the nerf is coming eventually, I guess, for Russia. So while it won't happen in Season 28, I think that once that happens, Typhon can really start shining, and it's going to be like a competitive build on the Wizard. So this was already pretty smooth here. The one thing I'd really like to see for this build actually is maybe a bit more mobility. Now, in the past, in the recent past in particular, we have gotten these insanely mobile Wizard builds with like perma teleport on Firebird, lots of teleports on Russia, etc. And Typhon is really like the only case where we don't really have any extra mobility. So this is not really needed. We don't need to have like perma teleport on every single build in my opinion. But it would be nice to get something at least, so you can maybe use teleport a bit more often, or maybe even just to get some movement speed. So maybe there could be like some, extra movement speed stacks that you get based on how many Hydra heads you have out, or something like that. Just to like smooth it out a little bit, especially for the farming playstyles. That being said, while I don't have any footage of it right now, Typhon is actually one of the best builds in Torment 16, in particular in Bounties. So while nothing will probably match the Inner Raiment Monk in Bounties, Typhon, before the advent of the Inner Raiment Monk, was basically the top tier build in Bounties, and it still remains like one of the best. So Bounties in particular with Adder Walker, or T16 with Adder Walker, instead of this like Fragment of Destiny stuff, you can just like teleport Hydra, everything dies. It feels pretty good, and especially with the damage buff now, that will be absolutely no problem, even in parties, even at like very low end of like basically terrible gear and all that. So 4016 in particular, this is going to be really good, and you have no trouble like at all playing a Wizard in Season 28 with Russia and this build around. So if you're a Hydra fan, Typhon is there now. The LOD Hydra build didn't get any benefit from this patch. So if you really wanted to play LOD Hydra or so, then yeah, this was a pretty outdated build anyway. And to be fair, not a very enjoyable one compared to Typhon in my opinion. So yeah, that one's pretty much dead now, I guess. But we got this, and I think it's pretty good. that's also all for what I have to share here for now. So let me know what you think about this. And let me know if there's like other stuff that Wizard could do for the Wizard in general. Maybe have an idea for like another mechanical tweak for the build, as I mentioned, with the movement speed, for example. And otherwise, hope you enjoyed this video, and see you guys next time.